Here's today's severe weather outlooks. I'm meteorologist Ted Keller. Kind of a quiet day today, although there are some spots worthy of discussion up here in Idaho, for example, and in the coastal areas of parts of North and South Carolina, maybe a little inland. And of course, this level 2 right here that we'll zoom in on here in southwest Kansas. So Dodge City, Garden City, those areas, a level 2 out of 5 threat for severe weather. And I can tell you right now, it is exclusively there for the wind risk. There may be a little bit of hail risk, but mostly it's a wind risk expected here, with nothing showing up on the tornado side of things at all for today in that area. If we look at CSU's outlook for today, Thursday, it verifies the lack of tornado probabilities. A little sliver of that around that Carolina area, and interestingly enough, in coastal areas of Texas, Corpus Christi, those areas. But the wind risk is showing up both in this marginal risk area over here in South Carolina, and a little bit in that slight risk area, or a little displaced from it actually, for today. For Friday, we have again kind of a smattering of very marginal risk here along the Carolina coast, and this level 2 that shows up here in the northern plains. And that's, of course, what we'll zoom in on, taking a look at this for Friday. And so the level 2 runs from the northern parts of Minnesota through Thief River Falls, Grand Forks, all the way over to Bismarck. So that's level 2. Level 1 covers a little more territory, as it usually does. Now let's break this down. So there's a tornado risk of 2% in the core of that, in the slight risk area. And the severe wind, again, about the same, not covering a whole lot of different grounds. So that slight risk pretty much defines, as you would expect, where the majority of the severe weather will be. So a 15% chance on the severe wind and a 15% chance on the hail. And if it didn't look like it changed much, it didn't. So it's really pretty confined to that one space tomorrow. Now, if we take a look at CSU's outlook for tomorrow, it's not really getting excited about the tornado risk at all. And even the hail and wind risks are significantly less. These are only coming in at 5%, whereas the SPC, as you just saw, pulled the trigger on 10% area. So we'll see what happens there in North Dakota and Minnesota today. If we finally take a look at Saturday, there is no official severe weather forecast from the SPC for Saturday. And I can see why. Although, there's a little bit of a tornado risk showing up in Wisconsin on Saturdays, so beware of that. And that's almost coinciding with this little wind risk area here from that same area in Wisconsin southward along the Mississippi to, I don't know, around the Hannibal area. So that's interesting. That's Saturday. Now, Sunday, this is all new. This is another one of these northwest flow situations where the front's coming in. So we have this pretty broad brush severe weather risk area on Sunday that covers almost all of Minnesota and almost all of Wisconsin. That's a 15% risk of any type of severe weather within 25 miles of a point. CSU does back that up. So here's SPC's forecast. CSU just extends the fun on down into the Ohio River Valley there at Great Lakes states. Probably that's really what's going on here. It agrees on storm initiation and maybe just kind of keeps those rocking and rolling through the evening a little bit more. That's Sunday. And then on Monday, this all shifts, with Chicago pretty much being in the center of this risk on Monday. But southern Wisconsin, a good chunk of Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, and parts of southern lower peninsula of Michigan, all under that risk. And then, of course, CSU is kind of agreeing with that, except they shift it far more east than the SPC's official forecast there on the right. And even though SPC doesn't mention it for Tuesday, I'll go ahead and show you. This is just for the sake of continuity, and it probably will come to fruition. This is the 15% risk by Colorado State University for Tuesday. And again, that I show this even though SPC doesn't pull the trigger on it, but just think of this map as a potential SPC outlook. That's why I show it. And then we'll go ahead to the NIU outlooks for severe weather. This makes complete sense. Supercell composite basically sweeps on down what I just showed you there, from Canada right through Minnesota, Wisconsin, into the Great Lakes, and eventually ending up in the Carolinas. And then after that, things get carved out pretty significantly. You can always see when there's more of a stable air push here in the Great Lakes in the Northeast. Some activity there in the Carolinas down to Georgia. That looks like the composite of a stalled front to me, and maybe a little bit more northwest flow activity trying to get rally support there. Same for week 3. Now, this is really getting out there. This is August 6th through the 12th. But some coastal areas of showers and storms, perhaps. And most of the significant supercell composite percentages are up in Canada.